All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. And upcoming next, I'll just tell you what I'm really excited about. Starting April 15th, I'm also going to be the host of the Side Hustle Lounge podcast, where we're going to talk about personal development, income opportunities, and lifestyle design and adventure. We've got, is that
What
me?
the heck? We have a gremlin.
I know, I can't find it. Who is it? Got Minnie Mouse. Is it Laura?
Yeah.
Laura's our in-house Minnie Mouse. It is Laura. Look, you're gonna have to come out and come back in. All right, and then is it me? I don't know. Anyhow, so anyway, it's my pleasure to be here. I love hanging out with you, and I'm going to introduce our co-host now. I'll talk slowly so Laura has some time to get in. Carol Ray is here, founder of Notary to Pro, the most highly recognized loan signing certification in the country. Carol, thank you so much for being here under Barbara, for those of you who are looking for her.
Good morning or hello. It's afternoon here.
How's it going?
Texas doesn't want me.
Who doesn't?
Texas. I tried to get, I'm serious. We went down this morning to try to get the ID card for me. I don't drive anymore. Bill drives all the time anyway, but we went to get my ID card. He had everything perfectly ready. Just, my birth certificate and social security, all that stuff. And I'm sitting there and we're going through everything. And we know we've got it made, no problem at all, right? So she says, I need your marriage certificate. And I said, what? Yeah, you have to prove that you're Ray and not Schultz. And I'm like, I don't think we have it. So this afternoon we came home and we're trying to find my marriage certificate. They don't go back that far.
Like that was a few years ago, right, Carol?
Almost 58 years. The chapel doesn't keep them. They don't go back that far. And the state of Texas can't find us. I may have to go back to California. He can stay here, but I gotta go back.
It's always an adventure, isn't it?
Anyway, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm glad you're here. The camera and the microphone sounds great. I love it.
It's not mine. I borrowed my daughter's computer.
Whatever works.
Nobody wants me.
Everybody wants. I talk to Texas, and they really want it. They do. Laura Biewer, are you here yet? Are you back?
I'm back. Do I sound like me?
You do sound like you. No more Minnie Mouse. All right. Welcome. Our third co-host for today is Laura Biewer, founder of CoachMeLaura.com. Laura, thank you so much for being here. What are you excited about this week?
What am I excited about?
Getting closer to holding your baby.
I am. I'm one shot away. He's 1 month old today. He actually is a whole month. I can't believe that's gone by so quick. I'm so busy. I don't even know what else I could be excited about. So let's move on.
Excited about everything. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Guys, I'm going to post some links to Carol's course, to Laura's product page. Laura offers individual one-on-one coaching for state specific. Carol has Notary to Pro. Everybody knows about that one. I'm going to post those links in there. So if you'd like to support any of our hosts today, you'll be able to find that information and do that in the chat window. Remember, at the end of today's call, you can actually save the chat window if you're on a computer. If you're not on a computer, maybe you can network with somebody who can email you the chat afterwards. All right, the way this works, it's like an old-fashioned call-in radio show, except we geek out on notary stuff. If you have a question, just use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Depending on your version and your device, it could be anywhere. So if you have any questions about where to find the raise hand feature, just type it into the chat, and one of our amazing audience members here will help you find that. We'll go down the list of questions. When we call on you, please unmute yourself, tell us what state you're in, and then ask your question. If we need some backup information, Carol, Laura, or I will definitely ask for it. All right, let's jump right in here. We have Kay. Kay, thanks for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help. Kay going once?
I apologize. This is
that's all right.
Kathy. I'm sorry. I had my login with my picture. I don't know where it went.
No worries.
I would love to hear. I just got my commission in the mail. Now I need to do the long wait of doing the getting sworn in and all those lovely things. But I was wondering, in the meantime, can I get on with trying to get on to title companies and or signing companies? I have experience from the past doing notary and doing being a loan officer. But I also like to know, like, for instance, the escrow officer that I used to know before, she's glad to help me. She's setting me up with a manager of the signing company, but the pay would be a lot less. I asked her about getting in direct. She's not aware. And honestly, I think she's being truthful that she's not aware that they can do direct or not. With the company, she didn't think they can do direct. She thought that everything has to go through the signing company. She's with Chicago.
Okay.
So any information regarding getting onto the title companies, I would truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Kathy. I think we can tackle this. The first thing I want to do, though, just to set the standard for the rest of the call, is please tell us what state you're in.
California, I apologize.
You're in California. All right. Welcome. And welcome to the industry. I know that you've been in it before, but welcome back.
Thank you.
First thing I'm going to suggest before I ask Carol and Laura for their opinion is before you start soliciting clients is make sure you have the notary commission in hand, your certificate in hand, and your stamp in hand. Be ready for yes, because the way this business works, you start talking about it, you're surrounded by people who want to support you. They're going to try to do that. And then you're going to tell them, whoa, 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 I can't actually work right now. And it backfires. It like stops the energy. So I'd wait till you have your stamp in your hand and you are ready to work, meaning you have everything you need to perform your duties here. And that includes your loan signing certification and your criminal background check, as well as your errors and omissions insurance. That would be my opinion. Laura, Carol, what would you suggest?
I say the same exact thing.
The same thing for me also, but I do want to add something. I have a graduate who lives in the Bay Area. She's fabulous. And she works a lot with Chicago Title directly. She made an unbelievable amount of money last year. She made over $300,000 as a signing agent last year. And a good deal of her work came from Chicago Title.
Carol,
Yes,
is
it's
there
very
any
possible.
way I can find out how I can go direct? Because like I said, it does not seem like the escrow officer knows. Or how do I
Well-
approach her not to be rude about you not knowing?
What I'm going to tell what I tell all of my graduates is, you know, don't jump into that deep lake without knowing exactly how deep it is and what rocks to look out for. Get some experience. You've got to have some credentials before you do that. I know going direct is great. You make more money. It's terrific to be able to do that, but put some clout behind you before
I
you
do
start
have
doing
that because I used to be a loan agent and I signed all my own clients. So she's
Well,
very
then-
familiar with me. Yes.
So if you have those kinds of credentials behind you, then there shouldn't be anything stopping you, because they definitely do hire direct. But you want to really hone your resume and just make sure that they understand the experience that you have.
So, and then let's talk in the more general terms here too, Kathy, when it comes to going escrow direct. Every escrow officer gets to make the decision about who they're going to hire as their loan signing agent. Their branch manager might say, hey, well, like Chicago is part of the Fidelity umbrella. Fidelity owns BankServe, which is the signing company. So they really encourage their escrow officers to use their own brands, of course, but they can't mandate that they use them. So they still get some flexibility. Some escrow officers might be willing to step out of that. Some might not. And there's plenty that do. So it's all about relationships. And before, and I love that you're being sensitive about the relationship, because that's going to be extremely important. But I would just get your foot in the door first, show what you can do, build that rapport and relationship, and then see how it unfolds. And then know that your business is bigger than one client, and it should always be bigger than one client. Even if she's a stickler and says, nope, this is what I'm doing, I'm using BankServe because that's the way I'm comfortable, there are thousands of other escrow officers that you can build relationships with if you choose to go that route. You don't have to rely on just one contact.
I would love to see one of our meetings to be about how to find the contact and how to get to the right department to do so.
Well, Kathy, all of that's offered through the training programs. No matter what training program you take, they should teach you how to grow your business. There's going to be escrow direct. There's going to be signing companies. Get dialed in on that. And I would encourage you not to rely on your past history to teach you your future business. Your past is going to serve you, but there's all kinds of hacks and tricks, and we've done it. We have built multiple six-figure businesses in this industry, and all of us teach you how to do that. And there's amazing information age right now where Facebook forums, community forums are sharing information to help you do that and get your foot in the door and grow those relationships.
Okay, if there is anything specifically for that part of the business, I would love to get more information on that. Thank you.
I'll start you off too. And this is for everybody as well. I know Carol has amazing resources whenever you graduate from her Notary to Pro, including contacts, people she has relationships with. In part of Sign and Thrive, I built my business going escrow direct, so I focus a lot on that. But one thing that's available and free to everybody on this call, everybody in the country, is my Morning Mastery course. And that's like advanced relationship building course and it's the exact daily activity I did to build relationships that led to multiple six figures, meaning it was how I found the companies I wanted to work for, how I researched who worked there, how I built those types of relationships. And it's a model that you can use whether you're going for escrow officers, attorneys, hospital admin, whatever it is. Relationships are relationships. You don't have to reinvent the wheel for every ideal customer. You just make little tweaks in how you talk to them. But that's available to you at notarycoach.com/morning mastery. It's free to everybody.
One of the
Thank you
things
so much.
I'd like to add too, that I see happen a lot now, a lot of our graduates are getting assignments which require return, obviously, of documents. And more often than not lately, I'm hearing about people getting signings from signing services, but the title companies are local, and by local, I'm talking within 45 minutes drive. And I'm telling these people that they have an opportunity here. Use that 45 minutes to drive those documents back and hand them to someone at the title company and let them know that they are open to that type of service too. And it's working. Some of our graduates are getting some really good business just by taking that drive and delivering them in person.
There is so much power in hand delivering or picking up documents. I think it's real easy to get kind of caught up in the extra 45-minute drive and the time, but that face time that you get with the escrow officer will serve you so well. It totally changed my business. And now when I take signings, I very rarely have to print anymore. They print the documents, I pick them up, I bring coffee to the office, I drop them off, and I keep that smile in front of their face. I can ask them what's going on in their life. That's helped my business so much. It's kept my face in this business.
You also have to be very careful as a retired escrow officer and manager. The stress that these people are under, you have no idea. It is probably one of the most stressful jobs in the world. And so you have to be very mindful. If they look like they're busy and under stress, you have to take that into consideration and not start talking a lot about your myself or anything else.
That's right.
Yep, definitely.
Thank you.
Great question. Thanks for being here. All right, Hina. Thank you so much for being here. What state are you in?
Hi, I'm from California,
All right.
and I'm working on a file. So there's a name discrepancy. The loan documents and the escrow documents have the name that is not on the ID or passport. It's just misspelled. They've provided their social security and work ID. So do I need a credible witness? What do I do in this case if there's a discrepancy in the name on the ID? It's just misspelled.
Laura, would you like to take this one?
Well, yeah, a credible witness isn't going to help you because a credible witness is going to say they're known by that name, and they're not. It's a misspelled name. So what I would look for is I would evaluate the identification itself for the clues that tell me it's this person, and then I would get supplementary evidence on top of that. So for instance, did you look at the picture? Is that the person standing in front of you? Did you look at a physical description, which might be gender or more? Did you ask them about information that was on that ID that they could recite it back to you? Did they have other ID with the correctly spelled name that has their picture on it so that you can tie together, this is that person?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that they've provided me many documents.
So Hannah, you can make that decision as a notary that you have satisfactory evidence of identity in your hand. Okay. They're telling you that's a typo by the Department of State who created the passport. And I would record that in my journal, and I'd also record what else did I look at that made it reasonable for me to rely on that ID to say it was that person, because most of the states use satisfactory rules of identity, which means the notary has to be satisfied. If you're not satisfied, there's no way for them to deal with you. But if you're satisfied based on what you've seen, document what you did so that if you had to sit in court, what would you say? Well, the reason is that I saw her picture on this. She had the same picture on that. I saw that the physical description was the same. I saw that XYZ. Those are the things I would do to feel more confident about moving forward. But a credible witness won't help you because they can't swear that the misspelled name is theirs.
Right. Okay. I think they've provided enough documents to prove that they are who they are. It's just the name on the ID and the passport is just misspelled. All right. I will. The title says move forward. They know about this issue, and they have that signature name affidavit statement also in there with their name variations. So I guess everyone's aware of the issue.
All right. Yeah, that would be the next step, is to make sure if this was a loan signing that everybody's aware of what's going on and approved.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right. Janae Blatch, thank you so much for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Janae Blatch and I am in Florida. And I have one fairly simple question and then one that might be a little bit more detailed. But the simple one is I am a member, Laura, of your the Laura Biewer Presents. Yes, and I was going over just as some review over oath and acknowledgements and realized there are some things that I learned a lot of new things. But one of the things that I see a lot, and I called the NNA hotline on this as well, was with the a jurat, when you see sworn and affirmed to, but they don't have all the elements. Like for Florida, it doesn't have all the elements, like personally appeared. Right. It may not have their name in the notarial certificate. It's just a simple line that says sworn to on this day. So it just has the date. It doesn't have the location or anything. Are we to add that missing information onto the notarial certificate?
So first of all, sometimes I see sworn to, and it's not a jurat at all. It's just an oath, and it doesn't require all those other mandated elements that a jurat does. If it's a jurat, then I'd replace it with your mandated language, because Florida requires you to have the ID, and it requires you to have the method of personal appearance on it. So if you know it's a jurat, replace it so that you have it, unless you have that little stamp, and that's the only two things missing, and you can fix it that way. But if there's more than that missing, don't mess with it, just replace it with your own. But if it's just sworn to before me, that's not jurat wording. That very well could be just an oath and can be used just as it is. An oath is a verbal promise of truthfulness.
Okay, and when it says sworn to before me, and it still requires it still has like the notary signature on there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
will. You can stamp and sign.
Okay, so
Sworn
I don't have
before
to add
me.
anything extra.
An oath doesn't have the mandated language that jurat and acknowledgement does.
Okay, that makes so much more sense, because I was adding, and I called that, maybe they didn't understand me when I called the hotline, because I was adding personally appeared, like at the bottom,
Sure.
with my initial, like personally appeared, and produced FLDL as ID to the bottom, just to add that information. So if it's an oath, I don't have to do that. But if it's a jurat and an acknowledgement, I do have to add
Yeah,
that.
there's mandated language for you for that. And when you're not sure the difference, call the hotline, because that's a really difficult act to always identify. And when it's not clear, get a second opinion.
Just add.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I was told that not to add necessarily a loose certificate because of something with the number of documents for recording purposes. So I
Right,
tried
that
to
would
just
only
make
be-
the adjustments.
That recording would be, we're talking about the deed, not all those
The
other
deed only.
documents. I doubt there was
Okay.
an oath on a deed.
Right, right.
Really not what's going to be on a recordable document. So that's what they're talking about.
Oh, okay. No problem. And this other one was very interesting. I actually got it in today from one of my direct clients. It was a signing I had done, a purchase signing I had done, and the husband's name was spelled wrong. It was a POA, a power of attorney, and her husband's name was spelled wrong on the loan document.
Mhm.
And so today the attorney sent me, they sent me an affidavit, a scrivener's error affidavit. Have never heard of it. But I looked at it and they wanted me to sign it. I did call them and tell them that I had issues with it being and I was so glad it was Tuesday, because I was going to wait till Notary tightens to get my answer. But I did let them know that I think it's unauthorized practice of law, and I wanted to see if that was correct, because it's an affidavit for me to sign that the name was spelled wrong. And it says on the fifth thing on the affidavit says, it is further attested by the scrivener, which is supposedly is me, that all other aspects of the mortgage are correct. And I said, I can't attest to that, because I'm not attesting to the information in the document. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, you're not attesting to all other aspects. First of all, you can sign an affidavit if they're just asking you to sign an affidavit that says, yes, I notarized this document and the name on the document was spelled wrong. As long as they're not asking you to notarize your signature to the affidavit, there's nothing wrong with signing a statement. However, it sounds like that statement that the attorney prepared included beyond the scope of what you can agree to. So I would go back to them and say, look, I can sign an affidavit that says, this is what I did, but I cannot include what you have, because that's beyond the scope of what I'm allowed to say.
Right.
And you
And
cannot
have you heard
include
of
your
that?
stamp. You cannot notarize your signature
Right.
as well. Right.
Right. I would just do my signature on it, but it says a scrivener error. And it made it seem like, because I'm listed as the scrivener in this affidavit. And so it's saying that, therefore, it is hereby attested by and through the scrivener that the correct name of the borrower's spouse is such and such, not this. Because it was subsequently discovered that the borrower's husband's name was misspelled on the mortgage. but the title in itself saying a scrivener's error says that it's my error. And it was the lender's error.
So, well, it started the lender's error and you helped it along by not catching it when you notarized and you didn't notice the spelling difference between the
No,
ID.
I caught it, and they told me
Oh, at the
just to
time.
continue to, at the time
Okay.
I caught
At
it,
the time.
it was
Okay.
a 10 o'clock, it was like at 10 o'clock at night, the signing.
Uh-huh.
And I told the signer that this is probably going to be returned because this name is incorrect. She says, well, if I have to re-sign, I'll re-sign. Let's just send it. I told the title company, they were well aware of the situation. And I told them I would go back out if necessary.
Uh-huh.
And this is what they send me to
All right, so
sign.
it sounds like you have to have a conversation that what's in the content of this affidavit is not signable the way it is. Here's what you
Right.
need in order for you to sign it.
Okay, so I did mention that, and I told them the things that I had errors, that I had an
Right.
issue with. And so I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I just wanted to make sure I was correct in that statement in this situation, because I'd never seen it before. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome. Great question. Interesting situation. Thank you,
Yeah.
Janae. All right, Bill Recius, welcome. We can see you're in Arizona. How can
Hello
we
there.
help? Hi.
So I got a signing, husband and wife, investment property, which doesn't really have any bearing on it. In this case, it's a split signing. Not that we haven't done one of those before, but in this case, we're actually forwarding the docs to the co-borrower. Just on one of the documents, especially in the escrow docs, it's a jurat. The document just comes down and ends with the borrower's signature, one line for each borrower. And then it goes on, say, state of blank, county of blank, describe this form before me, this blank. It does not say who I'm actually notarizing. The other notary certificates in here actually allow me to identify the particular party I'm notarizing. So the fact that I'm sending this on to yet another entity or another individual to take over the rest of the signing, is there anything I need to do to protect myself to say that, no, I did not notarize the wife's signature on this?
So you're just saying that the notarial certificate that was provided on this document does not leave space to clarify who personally appeared before you?
Correct.
Yeah.
It
Laura,
just
what
ends with a
would you
line for their
recommend?
signature, right?
I replace it with my own that does allow.
Yeah.
Just use your own
Okay.
certificate that allows you to identify who was in front of you.
Sure, because normally it's not an issue because they're both there. Or it's a split signing and each individual is getting their own paperwork. But in this case, we're actually passing this paperwork on, so.
Yeah, and it's
And
probably good
I
that you
just felt
caught
funny
it,
leaving it open.
because it's probably good that you caught it, because the second notary may have missed that. So it's good just to get it clear, because you want it to be crystal clear who personally appeared before you. That's the most important part.
Right.
May I add something to that, Bill?
Please.
I handle that, well, we do, our students have them all the time. It's very important that you alert the title company. If you get a split signing and you're the second signer and the other notary has not put a line through the person who is not appearing before you, you need to call title company or the signing service and let them know ahead of time. As soon as you get those documents, they need to start working on getting that notary to correct her certificates, or it could cause a real delay later on. You don't want somebody else to state that you have had two people appear before you when you have not. And you're not allowed to make that change on that certificate.
Great suggestion.
But as the original notary, though, I was allowed to scratch out the wife's name and initial it because she did not appear before me last time.
Yes.
Is that correct? Right.
You
Okay.
just
Right.
can't
And
change
that we
another
did.
notary
Yeah,
certificate.
that I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just caught this when I was tearing it down, getting ready to throw it in FedEx, is to say, like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not comfortable with this one.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, I've seen it delay. I have seen it delay the closing of escrows before, when notaries have mistakenly left the names they shouldn't have left on the certificate.
Okay. Thank
All right,
you.
Bill, thanks a lot. Hello, Kim Flanagan from California. Nice to see you on today. How can we help?
Hello, always good to see you guys. I've got a back to basics question. I've been on my notary certificates, my acknowledgements and jurats, I've been handwriting the full month. And I know on my date stamp, when they do the month, it's the first 3 characters of every month. Are we permitted to abbreviate the month on our notary certificates?
I never had a problem with
Sure,
doing
Dan,
that.
I do. I use
Ever.
numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
And
if it's
20.
Wonderful.
but it
20.
depends, right? You want it to flow, because if it says on the 23rd day of, you know, I don't put 3 for March. I write out March, or MAR is fine too. But yeah, it's
Wonderful.
I've never had it sent back.
Great. I know how sensitive, like, journals, my understanding is in court, they don't like abbreviations in the journals. And so I've been extra cautious in writing out the months. And I thought this would really help if I just had to put the 3 letters instead.
But I always use the 4-digit year. I don't
Okay.
abbreviate the year.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Well, that started in 2020, especially, right?
But it's carried over into this year. They're still asking for it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, great question.
Thank
Michelle's
you.
iPhone. Nice to see you on here. Would you like to unmute, tell us what state you're in and how we can help? Michelle's iPhone. There you go.
Hi, yes.
Hi.
I always get fluttered when you call my name. I can't figure out how to do anything. Anyhow, thank you guys. I have 2 questions. One, when you start your business, right, and you use your capital, your own money, after your business start making money, are you allowed to take back that money out from what you started, or you just leave that in the business? You know what I mean? Let's say, like, I bought a computer and then I did a couple signings and make $1,000. Do I take back out the money that I bought the computer, that I paid for the computer, or I just left everything the way it is and then write it off at the end of taxes?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's better for a tax person, because it probably depends on your structure. Because if you're a sole proprietor, that money, that's kind of all in the same place, and you can call it a loan to your business and pay yourself back. There's a couple different ways to structure it, but I would get some tax advice on it. Barbara, I called you Barbara. Carol, do you have any suggestions, or Laura, is there anything?
Yeah, just throw everything in a big box and take it to your accountant at the end of the year. My husband's my accountant, so he's kind of mountain of boxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay,
wish I could
all
help
right.
more. Yep.
All right, cool. You guys help. Another question is, I use my home as my business and use that as my business address is on the LLC and all of that. Now, I noticed in one of the forums that they were saying you should have a virtual office. Am I misunderstanding that? Like rent a building or rent somewhere instead of using your home address? Or did I misunderstood?
Maybe. So there's nothing that mandates that you have to do that. Some people choose to have like a PO box or a suite address, like at a UPS store, and it's structured like a suite, or they use co-working space. There can be some search engine optimization, SEO benefits to that. There could also be some downside as well. So it's more of a personal choice in what you're trying to accomplish, but there's nothing that mandates that.
Oh,
Most of us use our home addresses because we operate out of our home.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
you get deductions when you use your home. You get deductions on the space you use. It's a big factor, beneficial.
Oh. Oh, okay. All right, thanks. One more thing, and then I'm gonna quit and run.
All right.
It's on the journal, Laura. I'm a member of your LB Laura Biewer present thing, and in one of your journal thing, I think I was doing my journaling wrong. It stated, or am I confusing myself? It stated that you said to put just the notarial act that you did. Like if you did a document 127 pages, you just need to write like the 10 notarial that you did, because in the document section, I would put the name of the document, and for pages, I would put 127 or how much ever pages I print out. And then I would put /5 and I put notarized. Am I doing that right? Am I supposed to put the pages of the documents or just what I notarize?
So two things. One, Michelle, we asked for your state up front because that's very state specific.
Oh, sorry, New Jersey. I get flustered every time. New Jersey.
And in New Jersey, are you required or are you doing it because it's a good idea?
I'm doing it because it's a good idea.
So when it's not required, you can record however it best demonstrates and brings to mind the details of that notarization. And you are only going to be including the documents that are actually notarized. So the number of pages doesn't really matter. What matters is if there were 5 documents in the package that needed notarization, those are the ones you would include in your journal. It is to cover those that were notarized.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, you're welcome, Michelle. Thanks for being here.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Veronica Farber, thank you so much for being here. Would you like to tell us what state you're in? It sounds like you might have two devices.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting some feedback. Is that what I sound like?
You sound like me, Bill.
All right, Veronica, we'll come back to you. I'll leave you up there though. C. Cheney in California, thank you for being here. Would you like to unmute and tell us how we can help?
Hi, yeah, I'm from California, and I just recently did a reverse mortgage, and I want to kind of go off of what Janae was just talking about as far as the notarial blocks and stuff. I had like 6 different forms that did not have the notarial block that I thought I needed to add a jurat to. And now listening to Laura, she's basically, I'm thinking I shouldn't have done that because it says sworn to on there. So I thought by me not seeing the notarial block, I needed to add the jurat to it. It was my first reverse mortgage, so I did like 6 of those bad boys. Was that incorrect doing? Should I have not done that? Because I noticed that, and I'm thinking to myself, these mortgage companies should know that we need the block. So I thought, okay, this needs a jurat. And I'm listening to you now, and I'm thinking I probably did it incorrectly.
You're in California, and was the property also in California?
Yes.
Okay, Laura, would you like to chime in on that?
You know, I really had a hard time hearing all of it. What I didn't get is why you were attaching the jurats. Is it because you saw an oath or because you just thought the name of the title of the document meant you needed it? I didn't get that part.
Because I did not see a notarial block.
Okay, but we don't add notarial blocks to any documents unless we're replacing one that's already there for us.
Okay, so when I see a document that doesn't have the notarial block on there, but it says sworn to me, I just thought I needed to add a jurat, but I'm listening to you now and I should not have done that, correct?
Yeah, if it was just sworn to me, that's an oath. You could have stamped and signed it, given them the oath, and then recorded in your journal.
Okay, all right. And you just said something I want to ask you about as well. So do not get a stamp where you can add the notarial block to things. Is that what you're saying? Don't do that?
I'm not understanding your follow-up question.
Okay. I bought a stamp that said we're not blah, 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 whatever the notarial block is. Are we not allowed to use those on things?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Oh.
I'm just saying is we don't have to change an oath into a jurat. Those are 2 different notarial acts. That's all I'm saying.
So when I see a document that doesn't have the notarial block on there, am I to assume that it's just an oath? How do I know it's not?
No. What I'm saying is if there's no notarial block at all,
right,
we need to assume it's not notarized. I'm just collecting a signature. If I see sworn to before me,
right,
then that is notarial language. I can stamp and sign it. I do need to administer the oath.
I want to add something.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
Okay, as something that I have found that has been helping my graduates a lot, and I've repeated it. I'm sure I've said it here, but I'm going to say it again. Let your documents talk to you. They will tell you exactly what you need to do. If there's no notary certificate on that document, don't try to add one. Don't take it upon yourself to decide whether this is to be acknowledged or if there's a jurat. Let those documents tell you. It makes things so much easier. I'm finding questions that I've had before. I'm sorry, the questions that I used to have all the time, like every day, have diminished greatly since I've been pushing that.
Okay, so just sign it, put when your commission expires and stamp it and keep moving on.
If it doesn't require acknowledgement or jurat, then that's what you do.
I think we got to be really careful because we might be
Yes.
talking about different things. So I think maybe a one-on-one call would be better with the document that shows what we're talking about. Because there are some documents where the signer signs it and they're swearing to whatever it says, but it does
Right.
not require a notarial act.
Right,
It doesn't require that we do anything. So we're not going to stamp and sign it. And then there's
Right.
going to be other times where there is a little notarial area for us to do our stuff. So I think we might want to take this one-on-one, and I'll be
Yeah.
happy to do that. I know Laura has quick calls and Carol has coaching too. So we can definitely do that where it might be a little more clear so you can get a better answer from us.
yeah, because I think I really boo-booed. I put like
Okay.
6 of those things on there. And now that I just heard her say that, I'm like, uh-oh, I may have did that incorrectly.
All
Okay,
right. We'll
thank
talk
you.
about it separately. Yeah, great. Thank you so much for bringing it to us.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go back to Veronica Farber. We'll try that one more time. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Sure can. What state are you in?
Okay, great. I'm in California.
All right.
And my question is, I think for Laura. Can you talk a little bit about using out-of-state acknowledgements? My understanding is that we can use out-of-state acknowledgements and that they do not have to be California compliant. I know that we have to use California jurats, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly.
So in California, if the document is going to be filed in the state of California, I'm required to use a California compliant acknowledgement certificate. If the document is going to another state outside of California, then I may use the other state's language as long as it's going back to the state it came from and there's no representative capacity listed in the certificate, meaning title or authority behind the signer's name, because we're not authorized in California to do that, even though most of the other states are.
Right. So the reason why and then it doesn't really matter then if the acknowledgement is for a recordable document. It could be any document, whether it's recordable or not.
It could be any document that you know is going out of state.
Okay. The reason why I asked, and that was my understanding, but I just had this package from, it was an out-of-state property in Virginia.
Mhm.
And throughout the docs, there were probably 5 different versions of acknowledgements. So in all honesty, I have no idea if that's a Virginia, compliant acknowledgement, because they were all worded a little differently.
That's not your job. That's not
Okay.
your job to know
Okay.
Virginia's language.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think these documents end up getting all pieced together. Some are coming from the lender, some are from title, and okay, that answered my question though. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. And that's a really good point, guys. I told you that I talked to the attorneys that actually write these loan documents. And a lot of times they don't even quite understand the difference between a jurat and an acknowledgement. They're just copying and pasting from other documents or using a template. So it makes our jobs an adventure, just the way Carol likes it. An adventure. Maura Contreras, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute and tell us what state you're in and what's going on?
Hi, everyone. Maura Contreras. I'm from Illinois. I don't have a question. I just have more of a statement. I'm a recent graduate from Notary to Pro, and I just recently had my first signing, which, Carol, you did assist me so very well yesterday. I do appreciate it. But I just wanted to mention for the newer graduates that, there's a slew of information out there, but Notary to Pro is the real deal. It is the real deal. Carol and Laura, I've also spoken to you. It's great to have all that information, but just know as a newer notary, a new graduate, I promise I'm not working with them. They're not paying me for this. You have to come halfway. Obviously, they are giving you so much information and we're asking questions and everything, but come halfway. They are there to help and as well as the community. So thank you for all that you do.
Awesome. That was very nice.
That was very nice. Thank you.
And I did just
You're
post the link to Notary to Pro in the chat again as well. Thank you, Maura. Dantrell, always nice to see you on here. What's happening in Texas?
Oh, sunshine and rainbows. It's getting very hot. So, it's not winter anymore. Hey, I had a question regarding like online notarizations. I was wondering, like, because you have a pretty decent understanding, I'd imagine, of how the escrow officers might, maybe feel. I was wondering how would you go, not necessarily about marketing yourself with online notarizations, but these are changing. SnapDocs actually is allowing to become the medium between, so do you think that it's becoming more acceptable from escrow officers and what have you to do online notarizations, or
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So in my experience, what I am seeing is that on the loan signing side, it's not as high in demand as they thought it would be, even though lenders were really the ones that kind of started pushing this whole thing. There's not a huge demand for remote online notarization of full loan packages. They do exist. There are some companies who are starting to get it dialed in, but it's there's still some challenges. And I think there's still going to be some court challenges. I think we're still really fresh on this. A lot of the counties aren't ready for us yet for the remote online notarization. So if I was going to focus on remote online notarization, it would be with general notary work or specialty notary work as opposed to loan signings. That's where we're seeing a huge influx, and that's where the value as demonstrated in 2020 has been. That's been my experience. Carol, have you experienced anything different than that, or do you have? I just don't think the loan signing side has caught on like they expected it to.
No, and I don't think it's going to. I think there's too many problems with it. And we've got way too many baby boomers in this country now that don't want to do it that way. They really don't. I will tell this young man that there is a resource here in Texas. You might want to reach out to Phyllis Traylor. She owns my San Antonio Notary, and she does wonderful training. She's got a great workshop group. She's networking, putting people together, and she has her own platform. You might want to reach out to her for sure. My San Antonio Notary.
Yeah, I actually just joined the network yesterday.
Oh, wonderful.
Yesterday.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She's one of my graduates. And I'm very proud of her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with Bill and Phyllis not too long ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. Well, I'll definitely do that, and I just wanted to know that. So, thank you for answering that.
Yeah, no problem. And one thing that I think was really interesting too from Matt's survey, and one thing that on Clubhouse we had the CEO of Escrow Tab, we had the former COO of the MERS Corporation. Really, what is, I think, the future of this, if we're going to find a way to blend technology and loan signings, is the IPEN, the in-person electronic notarization. I really see that as the future. So still requires the electronic notary seal in that process, whatever that is in your state, but almost every state, I think every state allows for IPEN, and that's where you're still sitting. You have the physical presence, so you still have that security, but you're doing things on a tablet. So it's going to get us close to paperless. And with some of this technology, I mean, that escrow tab technology blew my mind. Forensically verifiable signature on a tablet. It's amazing. To me, that's going to be the future.
And Bill, didn't you tell me at one point, or we were talking about it, I don't remember if it was public discussion, but that a lot of the private investors who buy these loans up are not accepting, they're not buying these loans. And that's a big problem for some of these lenders.
Yeah, that's been a big holdup too. And then there's some of these are getting challenged in court. Granted, some of the most recent cases were California second mortgages and things like that with electronic signatures, and they just turned them down, and the lender was left holding the bag on some of these loans. So it still has to be challenged in states where Ron has been passed. But I think there's just too much up in the air right now. It'll probably evolve, but I think it's way further down the road than we were led to believe 2 years ago or even 3 years ago on that from the industry experts. IPEN, in-person electronic notarization. That's what that means. Check it out in your state because it's probably something you can do.
Even in California.
Especially in California.
Yeah.
And so many notaries are not aware of it. And well, really, and I think too, is the industry just wasn't ready for it yet either. And I think that convergence of technology, demand, and the fact that we jumped over IPEN and went right into remote online notarization. I think people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then we're going to slide right into IPEN.
Because of COVID, a lot happened that shouldn't have happened.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't even get us started on that, right, Carol? All right, great. Dentrell, thank you for bringing that up. Mercedes, thank you for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help. Mercedes going once. I hate to let go of a Mercedes. Mercedes going twice. All right, we'll come back to you. I'll leave you up there. Lisa's iPhone, thank you for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help. Lisa's iPhone going once. I don't mind letting an iPhone go, Lisa. Lisa's iPhone going twice. All right. Linda Edwards, thank you so much for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, everyone. I'm from California.
All right.
And also a recent grad of Notary to Pro. Hi, Barbara. I have my first. Oh my God, Carol. Her name's okay, Carol. Sorry. I have my first signing tomorrow, and I am like terrified. Okay, I have a HELOC. So my question to you: there's a borrower and a co-borrower, and I've noticed that on some documents the borrower or the main borrower is on here, and in some of them the co-borrower are on the acknowledgements and jurats. Do I have to initiate a jurat to each person individually? Because it's just a one separate one for each one?
They're both borrowers?
One's a borrower and one's a co-borrower. But on the deed, they're both their names, but on the certain form, it's just the main borrower. So I'm trying to figure out what is it?
If they've only got one name but they're both signing it, but they've only got one name on it?
Yes. So like for instance, like for the flood hazard determination is one name. The home equity revolving loan, the disbursement schedule, there's one name. But then like on the acknowledgements, there will be two names. On the jurats, there's two names. So I'm trying to figure out, and on a deed, there's two names.
Tell you what, why don't you do what I instruct you to do? Call me with your.
Oh, I am. I'm calling you today. Most definitely.
Because I'd like to go into more detail about it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I will definitely.
Okay.
Thanks, Linda. All right, we're gonna pop back up. Mercedes, are you in the house yet?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. Thank you. What state are you in?
Hi, I'm in California.
All right. What's going on? How can we help?
So, I heard recently that we have to start for every notarization we do in a signing, we have to have it on one line in our journal. So we can't just put everything on one line.
So you need in California?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm doing 10 notarizations in one loan doc signing and it's a couple, it's going to be I've done 20, I've had to do 20 lines.
Sure.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do I have to copy paste, write everything, their address, ID on all of those lines as well? Or can I draw a line indicating that it's all the same information, all the same person?
So the 7 required elements are the ones you must repeat. You may not take shortcuts. And depending on what style of journal you're using, are you using an NNA style journal?
No. It's,
okay, so I don't know what other optional ones. So do you know your 7 that are required? Those, no shortcuts. Everything else in the journal would then you'd be allowed to take a shortcut. So for instance, in California, name and address is not required. And if that's one of your fields, you can write it once and use a down arrow mark or same as above or ditto marks. If it has location of the signing, that's not a requirement in California. So again, you could write it once and then use down arrow marks or ditto marks.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem. Laura did a really great, very in-depth training on journal entries. It's posted publicly to my YouTube channel, but I just posted the link inside the chat window as well. And yes, the integrity journal is amazing, but not yet for California. But it's coming soon. All right, we're going to, I thought I had another person I skipped over, but I missed it. Okay, so Kay, we're coming back to you. Kathy, right? Kathy, would you like to unmute?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, it's Kathy again. Another question for you guys. I'm hoping I can take advantage of your knowledge on this. I am trying to set up for my errors and omissions and my notary bond. I was going to get the bond from one location and the errors and omissions from the ones that cover the loan signing agents. But the person that was selling the bond was saying sometimes that might cause you an issue when if a claim arises. Have you heard of such a thing? Is there a problem with that?
I think I would need more information before I do.
He said like if they are paying a claim, they're going to first go to the bond and say you pay, and if they're different companies, it might be an issue. But then, you know, I'm just starting out, so I need to pay attention to my cost. And unfortunately, the second place charges a broker fee on top of the notary bond, so it's a lot more expensive. So I'm hoping I can get the bond separate than the errors and omissions.
So, and I don't know California's process, but in Arizona, I have to have a bond before I can even get my notary commission. Is it not that way in California?
It is. And
well, I mean, yeah, you get your commission, you can order the bond ahead. And then when you get your commission, you can prove that you have one, and then they'll issue the bond.
Oh,
so and the bond should be super cheap, right, Laura? Like, I mean,
NNA is $38 for 4 years.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah.
So that's what this guy is saying, that if you do the $38, let's say through Travelers, whereas the other one is through Berkshire, you might have an issue getting the coverage of the bigger one later on. Like you have to pay the $15,000 out of your pocket if a claim arises. And I do need it because I'm getting sworn in and sending it to the county. So I do need the original. I actually prefer to do the $38 locally and go pick it up and send it off if I need the original. But
so I have not heard of anything like that, that it's a problem, but that may require a legal review of what the actual policies say. You probably don't have Legal Shield yet.
You're asking me if I have Legal Shield? No.
Yeah. All right. Well, because they could look at the requirements to see if it could create an issue. But I've never ever heard in my 17 years, I have not heard an issue that if you buy the bond in one place and you buy the at a different place, that.
And is legal shield mandatory or recommended?
No, and the reason I mention that is that it would give you access to attorneys who can review contracts and different things that we sign.
Right.
And so I was just checking to see if you had that service that you could use it.
And Laura, and what I was wondering, your program, again, because I've done the loan signing, I'm really interested for the other parts of it than taking the first portion. And I was wondering, I tried to get a one-on-one with you, and you don't have appointments available for months. So what's the best way of getting an appointment with you to talk to you to see which one of your programs?
I'll check Calendly, but I'm not booked out for a month. For you,
Really?
you want one of those, you just want a quick call with me
Yes.
to talk about, yeah. So
It
no,
should
as far as I
be,
know, I
yeah.
might be booked out a week, but I'm not
Oh.
booked out a month.
And I did it on bills too. It was like a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm booked out a little bit. Unless you're a student. If you're a student, you can text me directly and I'll get you on the calendar within 48 hours or so, but I'm booked out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could text me. I'll go and look, but as far as I see, I'm not solidly booked out for a month. I am narrowing my time band when I'm taking those calls, and they're in the mornings.
And can I get your number for the texting?
Yeah, you can text me.
Can I get your phone number, please, if you don't mind?
209-606-4938.
You should just go
Thank
ahead and
you.
take her library too. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I was
regret it.
gonna do. Yes, that's what I was gonna do. Although I'm not planning to go do general yet, but that's what I was gonna sign up. So the prices don't go up like yours did, Carol.
Yeah, mine went up.
Sometime, but right now, it's not going up by tomorrow. Somebody said, oh, it says it's not available till April, but that's next week. I mean, that's a week from now. It's not like a whole month from now.
I looked into it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said like May for me, I think.
No, I don't know what you were looking at, but I'm not booked out till May.
Maybe I was looking at our Mr. Popular here.
Yeah,
Bill.
Mr. Popular, but no, usually it's about a week out at a time.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. Kathy, thank you so much.
Thank
you. Notary to Pro did go up $25.
$25, worth every penny.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We're at 62 minutes today.
gosh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carol. Thank you for being here. Laura, thank you for being here. Always love hanging out with you guys, and all of you who are here listening. Thank you for carving some time out and growing yourself and your business on a Tuesday. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Happy end of month.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.